Hello, and welcome to another video. Today, I'll be talking about what it's like to play in a limited RCQ. I just played in a sealed RCQ pretty recently, and usually I like to show you the deck that I played and my entire pool so that we can analyze it together and do a little retrospective. But I don't know. This one I thought might not be that interesting to really talk about. To start, the sealed format was Secrets of Strixhaven, so not the current set. And I actually already have an RCQ video for Secrets of Strixhaven from back when the set came out. So this is something I've covered before. And I wouldn't say I had a particularly good performance at this one. I went 2-2-1, so straight down the middle, and did not top 8, so what I would love to do is talk about the process of playing in a competitive limited tournament. Because I feel like whenever I play in one of these, there's usually at least one person that, when the judge explains how everything is going to work for the day, they'll say things like, "Oh, I didn't realize we're going to play a different deck in the top 8, or I wasn't sure how deck lists would work since we're building on the spot." Things like that. So I would love to shed some light on this for you, if you are maybe curious about playing in an RCQ, or maybe you have one coming up but you aren't sure what to expect, or maybe you just want to hear someone talk about Magic the Gathering for a while you fall asleep. That's great too. But yeah, let's talk about what it's like to play in these types of limited tournaments. And for context, I guess, since I can only speak to my own experience, I've been playing for a decently long time, I would say. Probably about 13 years, off and on. I've played in a limited Grand Prix, a limited PTQ back when those were a thing, several limited PPTQs and RCQs. Many of the RCQs have recap videos here on my channel. So all of that just for some context that I've been through this process I'm about to describe many times over the years. And even with those different types of tournaments, I would say it's largely been the same process, with just some minor changes as time goes on. So yeah, let's get into it. I suppose we'll start with what you need to bring with you. Though being a limited tournament, it isn't much. Aside from whatever regular stuff you need to get through the day, like snacks and your phone and whatever, I would say bring dice, tokens for the set if you have them, or, infinite tokens or something like that. Bring sleeves, and if they're not brand new, then make sure they're in very good shape. Any dings or scratches on them could be construed as marked cards, which is no good. And I highly, highly recommend bringing pen and paper for life tracking. This is a competitive tournament. A written record of your entire match is going to be much stronger than using an app or dice or one of these things. If there is ever a disagreement over what life totals are, you can also keep track of who went first and if there were any mulligans. This information could become relevant if you ever need to backtrack or count cards for whatever reason, as long as it's early enough to be able to sort of recreate and step through everything that's happened so far. You also can just write down any revealed information or cards you want to remember for when you're sideboarding, cards to play around, stuff like that. So I will always advocate for pen and paper over anything else, especially for competitive. So I recommend you bring that. And that's pretty much it. Moving on to the beginning of the tournament. The start time that's listed is more than likely going to be the start time of the players' meeting. What that means is this is when the judge or whoever is running your tournament is going to deliver all of your instructions. So by the beginning of the players' meeting, you need to be registered for the tournament and present. You should have assigned seating, so you gotta find whatever table number you're gonna be at. The judge is going to explain what they need you to do. Based on attendance, they should be able to tell you how many rounds there are going to be. They might have pricing information, or they might tell you that later. And then they should explain the process of registering the entire sealed pool and registering your deck. So I'll explain all of that here as well, but of course, if they tell you to do anything different, listen to what they say. So at this point, you should be receiving your product, which is 6 packs, and your registration form. And I'll put an example of one on the screen so you can see what that looks like. If you've never seen one of these before, this might look a bit wild to you, but this is literally every single card in the set listed out in order. It'll be separated by color, then multicolor, colorless, artifact, land, and if there's a bonus sheet, then that'll be there. If it's a really big set, this might be a double-sided form, or it might be printed out on like extra long paper, so that's always interesting. But yeah, to start, you just fill out your name in the player name field. The packs that you received are the ones that you will be opening and building your deck from, so those are yours to keep. This may be a different experience for you if you played sealed tournaments many years ago. It used to be that you would open the packs and register them, but then you would pass that pool to another player who would build it and would become the owner of those cards. But yeah, that was causing some undue stress on people who would open maybe valuable cards and not be willing to continue with the tournament. So to alleviate that, you just open your own cards, pass them to another player to register, then they give them back and you're on your way. So you're going to be given a registration buddy. Usually, it is whoever is sitting across the table from you. When instructed, one at a time, you and your buddy are going to open your packs. You will fan out the contents of each individual pack. I like to take out the tokens as well, so they're not in the way. And both of you are going to be watching this process, so you can both verify that the contents of each pack are expected. There's no missing rare, there's the right number of cards, there's a foil, things like that. Then you place all of your cards face down on your registration sheet, and then wait for your judge to tell you when to pass it. You and your registration partner are going to switch pools, and the pool registration begins. So what you're going to have to do is go through their stack of cards and put everything in order. So first you separate by color. If there's a bonus sheet, you pull those cards out because those are gonna get registered in their own little group. Once everything is separated, you gotta go through each pile and alphabetize them. So what I usually do is an initial pass to put everything in alphabetical order, and then I'll go through one more time to check the set number of each card, because the cards are going to be numbered in the order that you should be registering them in. So I just do this as one more gut check, with the caveat that if there's any cards with an alternate art treatment, like a showcase or borderless or something like that, the set number is going to be way off, so you just have to go by card name then. But once you have all of your piles sorted, then you fill out your form. You should have a played column, which is where the player will fill out their final deck list, and a total column, which is what you're filling out when you're registering the entire pool. So from here, you are literally going through every individual card and marking down on the sheet how many there are of each card. Once you complete that and every card is accounted for, you return them all to a face-down pile on top of the sheet and wait to be told when to pass it back to your partner. Once you receive your cards back from your partner, you will be given a time limit to verify their registration, build your deck, and register your deck. So, this whole thing is not a complicated process. There is just a lot of steps to it. And if you are a person who feels time pressure, then this might be the most stressful part. What you're going to do when you're given the go-ahead, you need to go through and verify everything that your partner wrote down to make sure there are no errors, and then you can start building. So, as normal, you would build your 40-card deck. Then you go through that, mark down every individual card you're playing in the played column of your form, including your basic land. And then you turn this into your judge. every card in your pool that is not in your main deck is part of your sideboard. So there's no need to register your sideboard as it's already done here. These tournaments are not continuous construction, so whatever you register here is what you need to return your deck to for the beginning of every round. If your judge allows, I do recommend taking a photo of your registration sheet like I've done here, just so you have that record of what your main deck is. I also recommend laying out your deck and taking a photo of that if you have time for it. That might be a bit easier to reference down the line. But you do need to make sure you get everything sleeved and ready to go because once time expires, your first round is going to start. That is pretty much everything. The number of players you have will determine how many rounds of Swiss you play before making the cut to top 8. After the Swiss rounds, your sealed deck is done for the day, and the top 8 players will proceed to draft. I believe the seeding is random to prevent collusion or things like that. After drafting, they'll proceed to build and then they play single elimination until there's a winner. Or in the case of a 2-slot RCQ where there are 2 invites, then you might just play 2 semifinals and call it there. Unless there's additional prizing they need to figure out. But yeah, I know I kinda glazed over at the end there, but I hope this was at least somewhat helpful if you are looking for information about how these tournaments work. But of course, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I would be happy to answer. Or if there's anything I didn't cover or glazed over too much. If you're a seasoned RCQ player, feel free to bolster the information down in the comments and help out someone else. I would love that. So yeah. As always, please hit that like button. And please consider subscribing if you haven't already. I put out new Magic the Gathering ASMR videos every Monday and Friday. I truly appreciate all of your support. And I hope you have a wonderful day.